by far the most requested thing that I have on this channel is how I do my twilight transitions. So I've been shooting real estate for a very long time. I've easily shot a few thousand homes, and I believe I have some of the cleanest twilight transitions in at least the industry in my country. And the proof of this is that I have a bunch of comments online, a bunch of people asking me to do this, and a bunch of people in real life also asking me to do this. A bunch of people trying to copy my style. So I'm going to go over quickly how I do these in post-production, and I'm going to also tell you how I do them on set. Let's jump in and have a quick look. Hey creators, my name's Aimon, and I help creators find purpose and profit. So let's have a look. Here is a couple of the transitions. As you can see, that one's not perfect. Here's another one. That one's looking pretty good. Line it up pretty good. Pretty smooth. There's another one here. Very smooth. That's not a transition. Here's another one. Nice and smooth. Wow, that one's pretty good. It gives you a special feeling when you really make a nice twilight transition, let me tell you. There's another one. There's another one. You get the idea. Any more here? All right, so I'm just making a recap of there's 500 clips in here. Anyway, nightmare fuel. But so we're going to go to this one that I've just done this week. Pretty cool house. This is the transition, and of course it's going to lag. So let's just go to the actual video exported. Here we go. Nice and beautiful. Nice and beautiful. So this is what we're doing here today. This is the finished product. But let's just, for example, go find in media pool, grab this clip. As you can see, I've taken 3 takes of this. Oh no, that one had a little stutter in there. So I took 2 takes of this one, and let's have a look. Find a media pool. 1, 2 takes of this one, 3 takes of this one as well. Is that right? 2 takes of this one as well. So I've got 2 takes. I'm pretty good at just nailing it. So first things first, we're going to delete the audio. And yeah, so a little bit about how I do it on set, right? So I've got this in another video, and I can link that below if you would like. But essentially, you're going to find one marker on the ground, okay? And you're going to push your foot right up against that marker. So in this instance, there was the end of a tile, and I just make sure I only get 2 twilight transitions on every property video. But there's a lot of people that go max and they get 4, 5, 6, and I think it's just unnecessary. So I just get 2 now because that makes it more of a statement piece. It also makes it easier to remember where you're actually looking. So when you're on the ground, you find your foot position, you lock that into one particular spot. Now you're going to have markers on whichever camera you're using. My Blackmagic, for example, there's like a little crosshair, and I had that crosshair lining up to the top of the middle of one of these guys here. Now, it's not going to be perfect because there's so many variables in terms of like if you're slightly up, you're slightly left, there's so many different angles you can attack it from, right? But this is a general rule of thumb that just works for me. I'm always generally pushing in at the same kind of motion and length and timing. That's just how I roll, and you probably should be the same by now if you've been shooting properties and whatnot for a while. I'm generally holding it at the same kind of height. But again, I just make sure I lock my foot in and I lock my marker onto one particular thing. One of my players, Henrik, he loves to take a photo of his foot and take a photo of the camera. If you're new to doing this concept, that can really help you. That really seems to really help him. But this is just how I roll. That's literally all it is on set. And then we've got these 2 in post, okay? So what we're going to do is pop this secondary clip on top and make sure that it lines up with the very start. I'm going to go in about 1-2 seconds, press Q, and that's going to cut both of them off at the beginning. And then go to somewhere near the end, press W, and that's going to cut both of them off at the end. And that's just going to say that, look, if I took the shot generally at the same kind of time, it's going to be roughly the same and just a little bit easier to line up, right? Now, unfortunately, Matt, my photographer, he took this umbrella down to take a photo of the house, and he put it back, and I watched him do it, and it was devastating to me because I knew that it was going to make this shot a little bit harder to line up. But anyway, people are not looking at the umbrella, they're looking at the house, and as long as you have one main thing lined up in generally the middle of the frame, people are going to only watch it once and think it looks amazing regardless. So we're going to find halfway through the clip, delete the first half of the clip, drag the second half down. And what I like to do is just add a cross dissolve. And this is just before I go into any kind of luma fade or any of that jazz, just want to actually line it up correctly, right? Now, the first thing you want to do is press T, or where is it up here? It's one of these guys. And this is essentially a tool to drag it left and right. So we're going to just like drag it a couple frames forward, and then I press Control Z. And then a couple frames forward again, and then I press Control Z. And we're looking at the frame very, very intently here. And we drag it back, a couple frames back, and then press Control Z. And I can see that dragging it back is actually going to get me closer to my goal based on the house here. So now I press Control Z, Control Shift Z, or it's Command Shift Z, same. And that's essentially A being turning the effect on and off. So forward, backwards. Okay, we're getting a bit closer to the direction. So cool, we've established we need to move it further forward. Well, again, we're looking at the house roughly. And this is just trying to line up the shot as much as we can before we actually get into the transition. So again, we're doing this, we can see it. Another 6 frames, that's looking pretty good. Another 6 frames, that's looking pretty good. And you can also reference other portions of the frame, right? And now what this is telling me now is like, because we can look at this tree over here, and we're not actually getting, we're actually moving further away now. So I might bring it back another 6 frames or so. That's looking a little bit better. And so what we're going to do is going to highlight both of the clips, and we're going to zoom in by, I just go 0.4, 0.5, nothing too crazy. We're just going to crop in a touch, and that's so fine because we're shooting in 6K RAW, baby. You might be on a mirrorless camera and shooting in your petty 4K, but I don't stoop to those levels, you know. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so position. We're going to look over here in the transform, and this is where we're going to take the Y-axis and just move this up and down, right? So we can move this down, and as we can see, now what you can do is obviously zoom into the frame and looking up. So this makes it a little bit easier. And you can line this up nice and easily. So that's looking pretty good, right? Again, let's just bring it back up. So, okay, cool. I was obviously shooting the second shot a little bit higher. So we're gonna just crack this down again. Cool, it's looking about right at 19. Then we go to the X position and just drag this across until it's about there. So as you can see, it's looking pretty good. There's a couple of things that aren't perfect. And this is where you can, again, just jump back into this T section. So we can zoom out, press Shift F, and then you can move this back and forward again. So now we start looking at different parts of the frame. Obviously, the middle of the house is looking quite nice. I'm gonna zoom forward a bit, zoom backward a bit. Look, it's looking pretty good. Forward a bit, backward a bit. Okay, so we can see that, again, we take it back a little bit, and this top of this tree here is actually looking a little bit better. So then we just jump back in, and so it's kind of a push-pull game, really. And when you get really good at this, I nail these in about 1 minute each. And then, so we're just gonna, again, make sure this is all aligned to the best of our ability. Obviously, the top of the house is looking really nice, but sometimes it's a bit of a game. Yeah, so bringing it down again, because we're looking at the center of the frame here as well. So the top of the house is looking good. But then this middle bit here, moving across, nice. This door handle you can see is like, all right. So look, I'm happy with that. That's looking pretty good because obviously some of this is going to be hidden. It's just about finding a good middle ground. And so I'm pretty happy with that. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to jump in, apply a quick grade here just to make it look a little bit prettier. Probably should have done this before. And you can get my full node structure in the link below if you want. This is all this stuff. I've done it all for you. Makes it nice and easy. And now we're going to delete this cross dissolve, and this is where the secret sauce comes in. This is what you've been waiting for. Going to go into our effects tab and just type LUM for Luma. Make sure we're in the toolbox, Luma Wipe. They've got a nice, beautiful one here. I mean, like, you can go into, you used to do it in Fusion, you used to do it in all sorts of stuff, but DaVinci, love the program. They're so amazing. Which one are we in? 19. They've just made a drag and drop transition for you. So we're going to drag that across. Click about halfway through, looking over to the left here in the transition, bring the softness all the way up. And then we're going to go into the curve and click on easing. And the in and out, we're going to click on quad. Now let's watch it through. I'll just bring this down because we're recording the screen here, so it's going to lag a bit. Beautiful. Look pretty good. Looking pretty good. That's kind of it, champ. It's kind of it, folks. It's kind of it, guy. So, you know, and then you can just kind of like pause halfway through the transition and zoom in again. Just give it another fiddle if you want. All right, I can probably bring it one more this way, one more that way. Is it really doing anything? I don't know. Bring it back to full screen. Let's have a look. Beautiful. So again, in the let's go to the final one here. Here we are, because I've got noise reduction on, halation, all that jazz. This is what it looks like. Pretty flawless, right? Kind of hides it in there. Obviously, you know, this isn't perfect over here with the umbrella that I said. The chair's not perfect. This tree's not perfect. But everybody's eye line is going to be looking at the house. Now, a lot of the time, I actually do nail these perfectly. But depending on the objects in the space, it can be a little bit harder, right? But here we are. It's looking pretty good. And again, most people are going to watch it once, okay? So jumping into a little hack with what we're doing here in the grade, this window, we're kind of opening up here and just tracking all this stuff, bringing it up, adding sharpness and all that stuff. And that's just what makes this transition also look quite incredible, is we're doing a whole bunch of secret sauce in the grade here. Again, you can just grab my node structure in the description below. But that's it. That's the secret sauce. It's nothing crazy. It's just a bit of fun, and that's the entire Twilight transition that everybody has been asking for about a year now. And that's it. Any questions, feel free to pop them in the you know where to go. You know where to go. Just down below, and we can go from there, and I can help you out. But like, that's pretty much it. So hopefully you got some value out of this, and I'll see you in the next video.